Hello and welcome to another episode of Forest Forever. This is now episode 7. In this series, we are aiming to recreate Brian Clough's massive success at Nottingham Forest, in which he won back-to-back Champions Leagues in 1979 and 1980. In order to have our own stamp on this, we are trying to also get our hands on the Premier League trophy, which I guess is the natural thing to do when you're in the Premier League and competing in Europe. If you haven't seen any of the previous episodes so far, I recommend you go back and have a little skim, just to give yourself a little idea and get yourself up to speed with everything that we've done so far in this series. Also, if you are enjoying the series, make sure that you drop a like and ensure to subscribe so you do not miss any episodes of this series. Run the intro. Now we're getting to the business end of the season. We don't have too much left. I think it's like 10 games to go. So it's pretty much the crunch time now. It's if we make any bad results, then we might get forced into the playoffs. But so far, I think it's a 4-horse race to get first and second, which is nice. A bit of drama. We love a bit of drama. So last time we was together, we was against Bournemouth and drew 1-1. Pretty even game. Then we went on to face Swansea, which was our first game off camera, which is all of these. It was a 4-3 game, and to be fair, we was like 3-1 up for a while, and then it got really scrappy towards the end. Like 2 goals from them in the last few minutes, and one from Miguel Angel Guerrero. Then we went to Blackburn and snuck a nice 1-0 win, which was lovely. Then against Rotherham, we managed to get a 2-1 win, which was very fortunate with an own goal in the dying minutes of the game. Then we went against Derby, and this game really annoyed me. Not for the fact that it's Derby, but the fact that we was 2-0 up in 25 minutes, and then we drew in the dying embers of the game with a penalty and a last-minute goal, which is really annoying because they are 5th, I believe, in the table at the moment, and that could have really pushed us up to be in with a better chance of getting first or second this season, and it could be one of them games which decides the season. Then we went to Luton Town and managed to redeem ourselves with a nice 4-1 win. I think it's one of our biggest wins of the season. Biggest, most comfortable wins at least. Yeah. Then we headed on to Watford and it was a 3-3 draw, which is unfortunate. It was like a back and forth game, so it was like 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2. Then we managed to get another one to make it 3-2. Unfortunately, we couldn't hold on to that. Tom Cleverley managed to get a goal for them, made it 3-3. But that's not too bad. Watford are a pretty solid team. We then stayed in London and went against Reading, which was a 1-1 draw. Nothing major happened in that game. It was quite boring for the chances that was made. Not enough. But today we're going to head on to Norwich and Brentford, which is first and second in the league. So these are probably the biggest games that we're going to play of the season now. I think it could decide first, second, and along with the Derby game, of course. But these are going to be the biggest crunch games, and we have to perform in these 2 games specifically. In the table right now, I can show you how close it is at the top. It's a 4-point swing, and with us facing both Norwich and Brentford, if we got a win against both of them, we should all be in with a very good chance of getting first/second, depending on how they play. Because Bournemouth have already played their game, and we're pretty much on our way into this game now. So if we get at least a point, we'll go third, and that will create a 9-point gap to Derby, and then an 11-point gap with Middlesbrough, which is nice, which is almost guaranteed playoffs if we get a couple more wins. But going into these next 2 games, this is crucial. This could decide everything. So I just want to quickly give you an update on some of the players at the club and some developments that have happened whilst simulating off camera. So we've decided to give Miguel Angel Guerrero a 1-year extension. This is mainly down to the fact that he seems to be a good impact sub for us, so it's nice to have a little bit of extra depth, because I tend to use Lyle Taylor as a right winger more than anything. I mean, he can play striker and that's his natural position, but if I have Guerrero, it means people can be spread out a little bit further, and say if Grabban was injured, we can still use Taylor as a winger or a striker, but then we'll also have Guerrero to play the striker and push him wide if we have to. Also, if we decide at any point in the future to go with a 2-man strike force, then it gives us them options, because we don't really have anyone that great aside from those 3 players. We don't really have any youth players that are top quality strikers, so we need to look to try and maybe bring some in to develop for the future, or try and bring someone decent that we can have now and has a little bit of development left to give us the boost more instant than someone who's going to take like 5 years to develop. Another reason why I decided to extend his contract was mainly on the basis that he's going to take a reduced wage. So I managed to do that. He was on a 15k a week contract, so now he's on 10.5. He's also got a clause for an extension after 20 games, but that's something I think I'll manage to make sure it either happens or doesn't, depending on the situation. Could always just offer him a contract, worst case scenario, to try and see if I can bring him down a little bit further. If he stays as consistent as he is from the bench. And another good thing that he's agreed to is being under the squad role of impact sub. So I'm not under any pressure to bring him on. The 20 games probably won't get hit because I do think I am going to bring in another striker. Maybe someone like a pressing forward, or maybe even dabble with a false nine. But I want to find the right person before splashing the cash on that. Plus, going into next season, a guaranteed transfer budget is like 1.7 million, which is not really much to wiggle with. So we'll see how that develops, and if we find the right guy for whatever price, and make a decision close to the time. Another positive thing now is, I think last time he was with us, Andre Almeida was unconvincing as a CDM, but now he can play it pretty well, and he can play register as we wanted at a solid level now. He's pretty much at the same level as he is at centre mid, which is lovely. So now it's not going to be every game I'm getting the bench telling me Almeida's out of position, because it's not a thing anymore. He can do it. And he's also been playing for the Portugal under-21s, which is nice because now he's getting some international experience. It'll help him grow, because I really want him to be like the puppet master, almost like our own Andrea Pirlo, a Portuguese Pirlo, I guess we can call him. Heading into the Norwich game, this is going to be our lineup going forward. One other thing I forgot to mention was the fact that Ryan Yates has been suspended from the last game due to the amount of yellow cards he's picked up. So because Harry Arter's also out, we don't have an extra centre mid in case anything happens. So we've decided to call up Sam Collins from the youth team. He's the only one really who's got any kind of potential or is somewhat able to play football at this matter of time. Plus it's a big game, so I don't think I will be bringing him on. But you never know what happens. People might get injured. But Sam Basso is filling in for Yates this game. And this is pretty much the lineup that we have going forward, aside from Harry Arter and Ryan Yates being here. This is such a big game. Hopefully people turn up. I think Guerrero might come on at some point because I know he's a big game player. He seems to turn up when I need him. Lovely tackle. Shame about the dispossession. Emi Buendia did me in big time last time we played these guys. We've not done much this game either so far. Oh, unlucky boys. We're expected to have more of a chance of having a goal than Norwich so far, which is nice, but we need that goal to be converted. Quintela, Cantwell, Tete. Hopefully this doesn't turn into be anything good, which I think it might. Lovely, lovely. Well covered. Nice. Got there, Freeman. Big save. Big save. That should have been a goal. Brentford are losing. I didn't even realise this was the game happening. So Brentford are losing to Derby, meaning if we get the 3 points here, we'll be 1 point behind Norwich and Brentford, who are 1 and 2. And then we can then go against Brentford and guarantee a second place for the time being if we beat them. And if Norwich draw, then we could go ahead. Just try to G up the players a little bit, tell them that I expect more, and I know they can do it. I like that Almeida's getting the ball a lot now, because I really want him to be like the conductor of this team. Oh, come on, we need to make these chances. I'm going to bring on the reinforcements here with Grabin, Bashiru and Sugawara off, and we're going to bring on Guerrero, Lolly and Cyrus Christie. 3 very, very good replacements. Christie almost made an instant impact then as well. We also brought Bermejo back into the centre mid because I think he's going to be better off than having Bashiru there. Oh, there we go. That's the impact, and that's why he's got a contract next season. He's such an impact sub. It's kind of like how Olivier Giroud is for Chelsea right now. Look at Guerrero. He's like twinkle toes. Sam Collins. That would have been huge. If we'd have made that, we'd have guaranteed the game. Big tackle. I like that bit of play that I saw. I really like. But will I like this one? So far, no. Nice one, Joe. We need to get rid of this one more time. Ah, we're just so bad at conceding late. That's literally our Achilles heel at the moment. Is the last 10 minutes we always seem to switch off. We should have won this game. We actually played better than Norwich. It's really annoying, that. Really, really annoying. That could cost us. So, whilst simming in between the Norwich and Brentford game, we got our youth intake. And to be fair, it looks like we've got a couple of decent players. And I think most of them we're probably not going to retain for more than a season or two. Especially these guys down here. I don't think there's any real use. The main standouts here are Ronan Burke, who looks solid and could be our future right winger if he goes on the right path. He's a realist, which I don't think I've actually ever seen before on FM, but I'll have a look to see what all that means. I'm sure there's information about that, but if that's not a good personality trait, we can always just get Dawson to have a little word with him and get him under the wing. Aside from that, we've got this guy called Conor Milod, who I'm not a massive fan of because I'm not a big fan of defenders under 6 foot, or at least centre-backs, unless they had exceptional pace or exceptional jump in reach, which he doesn't have right now. But he's also trying to train to be a ball-winning midfielder, which is alright, but I might look to swing him out at left-back, or see if I can try and get his physicals up high enough to become a useful centre-back, someone who can maybe sweep a little bit more, and we just have some big brute next to him. Scott Johnson looks pretty solid as a right-back, also at a decent level already. His potential's not too bad. He's about the same as Cyrus Christie. So he could be a good alternative if Sugawara doesn't turn out to be that great in a year or so. I think we'll loan him out, give him some good game time already because he's already at a decent ability for the time being. Ian Deasy, though, is someone I don't mind. He's got the same sort of potential. He's driven. I like that. He's regional in reputation, which is not too bad. So 19 determination. I'm liking the look of this. And he's 6'7", so height's not a problem. Maybe a little bit too big for what I'd tend to go for in a goalkeeper, but as long as he's saving stuff, I don't mind. So this is the team that we're going to start with here. We've decided to bring Christian for Sugawara because he's a player that's played pretty solid all the way through the season, and right now we need pretty much our best team, and I think this is it. We do have a lot of people a little bit tired, mainly in defence and Almeida, but I think we can get through it and we'll be fine. If we can get a couple of goals, it makes it a lot easier for rotations. There's no way Almeida is that tired already. Oh, we need to be burying them. It's been a pretty poor first half, if I'm honest. Like, almost, we've had like one highlight. One thing I forgot to mention, which has been the common theme of this episode, is that, for fuck's sake, I was about to talk about this guy as well, Marcus Force, is that I'm looking at maybe bringing him in because he's young and he would kind of fill the role that I want to do up front. Plus, I've never had him on Football Manager. And the interesting thing about Marcus Force is that my girlfriend's brother played with Marcus Force when he was younger in like the under-11s team. Oh, Andre Almeida, first goal of the season, get in! But yeah, Marcus Force is a potential striker that we're going to look at. I've already spoken to his agent, and it's like maybe a £6 million deal but he'd be interested in coming. There's Guerrero, and that's why Guerrero started. We brought it back. There's going to have to be a sub in a minute because Almeida can't continue. Hold this, boys. Let's not rush this. Oh, lovely Samba. Do I do the time wasting thing again, or do I just... I'm going to do it again. We'll probably concede late on, because that's what we like to do. Or not. Get in. That's such a huge game that we've got some points from. 4 points out of 6 against the top 2. I'll take that. We could have had 6 out of 6, but you can't get everything, I guess. You always need a little bit of drama. And this is the thing I'm mentioning about the physio constantly telling me about players being tired. But the good thing is Joe Worrell is not going on international duty, but I think McKenna is. Maybe I can try and see if they can play him a bit less or do any of that kind of stuff. But let's have a look quickly at the table. Oh, this is very tight. This is very tight. I don't know how many good people we're against and how many good people Norwich are against and Brentford or whatever, but this is going to go all the way to the wire, I think, for the 1-2 spots. Ideally, we can be amongst that. I mean, at this point, if the table stayed like this, I'd take it. It'd be nice to go up with a bit of silverware, but as I say, I'll take this. I'm more than happy with that. But as I said at the start of the video, if you did like what you've seen today, drop a like, make sure to leave a comment if there's anything you'd like to give as feedback, or if you'd just like to say anything, I guess, about the save, or maybe your own saves. And ensure to subscribe if you want to keep up to date with all the content that I'm producing. And as always, have a good one.